Ahmad Saab for sharing his views and thoughts with honorable colleagues who are connected in this session. Sir, over to you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dr. Ibrahim, Dr. Zabta, Matisa, Dr. Bilal Sahab, and other colleagues who have joined us through online, dear students, ladies and gentlemen, assalamu good afternoon. I was not supposed to talk, I was just here as an audience and listener, but because Zabta Sahab and Zia Sahab asked as requested, so I will definitely, Dr. Mukhtar, you also thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, very important, and I must congratulate the Academy of Sciences and of course it is the baby of Dr. Zabta Khan, these are activities that such kind of discussion should continue, and they are very fruitful. First session was about food security, and second session about the higher education sector. Things have changed. We have to accept it, first of all, because I can see around us, people are still not accepting that things have changed. Number two, it is a reality, again, because there are so many things you can see on the social media. It's reality, it is fake, it is just a propaganda or whatever, but it is reality, we have to accept it. Number three, it will continue, it is not going to finish. People who are saying that no, next year it will be okay, the following year it will be finished, no, I don't think so. Because influenza is still there after 100 years. Flu is still there after so many decades. This is also going to stay. We have to live with it. We have to learn how to live with it. Now, I was just talking with Dr. Bhatti Sahab, and he rightly said that we are kind of selfish kind of creature in the society or in the nature. Why we are not thinking about those hundreds of other millions of those species which are other than human beings in this globe or in this world basically. We should also look at them, that how they are affected by this COVID or these things. Whether it is they are animals, whether they are plants, whether they are marine world or whatever, because they are also being affected due to these diseases and these new kind of emerging diseases what is happening around the world. Zabta said that you are only allowed to speak 5 to 8 minutes, right, Dr. Sir?
So as long as you can.
Well, you are asking trouble. So I will just try to come back, just touching these basic things, try to come back to higher education sector and where things went wrong and what need to be done. Luckily we have people like Dr. Zia Sahab, who is already himself a PhD in artificial intelligence and computer science and heading a biggest university in Pakistan, an open university with 1.3 million students in one university only. So, and similarly other people, Dr. Tahar was giving a very good case study about the Global University and Dr. Hassan and other people. We need to understand when things are still not correct, basically. We are in Pakistani society, we are always followers. We are always late responding to things. This online education, or web-based education, or the web-based learning was already in the world even before the COVID. And we were just waiting that somebody will come and give us special kind of project and give us a ready-made something, so we will move on these type of things. Otherwise, there was no acceptance. I will always say it's a blessing in disguise this COVID came, that our society also pushed, and our faculty, our universities, our academia, they started adopting this change. And they are part of now the global education system. Otherwise, we were left behind, and we were almost 10 to 20 years behind the other countries, other developed universities which were already moved, or they were gone to 80% online education or hybrid education system, and we were still going through the conventional system. It is also fact that we have different kind of dynamics in Pakistan. We have very good internet services available in Islamabad and Lahore, Karachi maybe, but we have limitation as far as the internet facilities are concerned in Gilgit-Baltistan, in Balochistan, in some area of Balochistan, in Fata area, in other remote areas, Kashmir areas, that they have some problem. So initially when the first phase of COVID came in 2020, early 2020, that was surprise to all of us. And then one can accept that, okay, it was a surprise, so people were not aware, so it was a difficult time. Government has to close the universities, universities were not ready, faculty was not ready, students were not ready. But then after that, I think there was no excuse in phase 2 or even now in phase 3 that we are still roaming around and discussing what is need to be done, how should we be doing it. World has already done it. We are not inventing a new wheel. Basically, everybody is looking toward each other that government will do it. Government is thinking it is the higher education department, they will do it. They are thinking that higher education commission will do it. And higher education commission is thinking that the university they will do it. And university is thinking is Allah will do it. Okay? So basically, it was all our responsibility. We have to understand it is the faculty who is responsible. It is the university who is responsible. Of course, it is the government responsibility also. But government responsibility is to provide the infrastructure. And if I was at the decision-making level at this stage, what should I have done if I'm asking question to myself? I was chairman of the Higher Education Commission way back in 2014 to 18. If in this time I was head of the Higher Education Commission, I should have immediately called Allama Iqbal University, virtual university, and a couple of those universities which were in advanced stages, and I should have requested them, please bring your resources. Because I know virtual university, they have maximum undergraduate courses already online available. Similarly, Allama Iqbal University has, especially not online maybe, but basically distance education material in shape of very good text with books available, very good material available. I should have brought these information which are already available in different universities and put them in one some server and should have given free access to our university, utilize these resources which is available at the moment. We should have at least eased down the workload on the university system. मजे की बात यह है कि इस कोविड ने हमारे यहाँ से सब बड़ी सब कह रहे थे कि वो जो एक फियर है चेंज का, तो हमारे जैसे बहुत से प्रोफेसरों को वो कहते हैं कि ओपन कर दिया कि यार ये क्या पढ़ाते रहे क्लास में, कि जब लोगों ने देखा उनको कि वो मेरी तरफ अमल भी करते हैं, मेरी तरफ बातें भी करते हैं और पढ़ा कुछ हो रहे हैं क्या कुछ हो रहे हैं, तो बहुत से टीचरों को भी चैलेंज हो गया कि उनको ये लोग क्या कहेंगे, उनको ये फियर था, ये फियर नहीं था कि क्या करना है, फिर अब तो सारी दुनिया देखेगी मैंने क्या पढ़ा. तो बेसिकली everybody should have done that as a proactive approach. Government should have provided proper infrastructure, IT infrastructure. Number 2, university should have trained their faculties properly, and then they should have engaged the student who is the real stakeholder. कि आपको क्या मसाइल है भाई, आपसे क्या मसला है, आपको क्या लर्निंग में प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, and based on their discussion, they should evolve a system of their own indigenous, so that slowly we should have gone toward a right path. But unfortunately, our main focus was close the campus, send the student home. और फिर बदकिस्मती क्या हुई, आप लोगों ने मरी रोड पे आके लाहौर में धमाके झगड़े भी हुए, जुलूस भी निकाले गए कि बगैर इम्तहान के पास कर दिया जाए, ठीक है. And basically, we want to give exam online. You know how much you have created embarrassment for your nation, for your society, and the rest of the world. Who can give you degree without exam? Who can give you a passing marks without exam? And you know what? Basically, ये जो है ना कि इमेज बड़ा गलत पाकिस्तान का बाहर चला गया कि देखें कि वहाँ के बच्चे तो अब एग्जाम भी नहीं देना चाहते, वो ऑनलाइन इसलिए कह रहे हैं कि ताकि आराम से, जो आपको भी पता है तरीका यूज होता है. तो इन चीज़ों से निकलना पड़ेगा. Faculty has to take the responsibility, universities has to take the responsibility, government has to take the responsibility, and sporting institution has to take the responsibility. But again, under right direction. Only discussion लंबी छोड़ने से बेहतर है छोटी चीज़। जैसे मैंने कहा कि अगर मैं होता तो मैं ये सारा मटेरियल इकट्ठा करके कम से कम स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट शुरू कर देता। बहुत से कोर्सेज का मटेरियल अवेलेबल है ऑनलाइन। इसके अलावा आउट ओपन सोर्स सिस्टम में बहुत सारे कोर्सेज जो है ना, उनको सिर्फ थोड़ा सा आपको अपने कानून कायदे में यूनिवर्सिटीज़ को अपनी सिंडिकेट वगैरह से एकेडमिक कोर्सेज से अप्रूवल लेके अप्रूव करवाना था कि हम ये कोर्सेज करवाएंगे और हमारा टीचर जो है उसको मॉनिटर करके इनको असेसमेंट करेगा। क्योंकि सबसे मुश्किल काम जो मेरा ख्याल है अभी भी, आई होप कि डॉक्टर ज़िया विल एग्री विद मी, सबसे डिफिकल्ट काम, द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट कंपोनेंट ऑफ द डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन और ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन इज द असेसमेंट, बिकॉज स्टिल वी आर नॉट रेडी फॉर ऑनलाइन असेसमेंट। लोग कहते हैं कि उन्होंने सेंसर लगा दी है, तस्वीरें मिले, डजंट मैटर, हर एक चीज़ का तोड़ हमारी रिपोर्ट निकाल लेती है। तो वी हैव टू फोकस ऑन असेसमेंट मैकेनिज्म। और इलामा इकबाल यूनिवर्सिटी जैसे लोग और बाकी जिनका काम ही यही है डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन है, इसमें मिलकर काम करना पड़ेगा। वी हैव टू वर्क लाइक ए नेशन एंड वी हैव टू एड्रेस द इशूज। Unfortunately, what we do in Pakistan, we waste our most of the time on non-issues and we don't address the issues. Remember one thing, this COVID will stay. Remember another thing, that we have to live with it. Remember another thing, that now things are not going to be as usual. We have to start learning in a different way. In-class teaching, in-class practical is not going to be the solution anymore. Of course, इसके बगैर सोशल एस्पेक्ट जरूरी है, वो भी जरूरी होगा, लेकिन अभी से यूनिवर्सिटियों को हाइब्रिड टीचिंग में आना पड़ेगा। इलामा इकबाल और वर्चुअल तो करेगी, बाकी यूनिवर्सिटियों को भी अपना कैपेसिटी बनानी पड़ेगी, अपनी फैकल्टी को ट्रेन करना पड़ेगा। सबसे मुश्किल काम यार बच्चे तो हमसे तेज हैं, इनको तो पता है कैसे इस्तेमाल होता है। मसला तो मेरा है, ज़ाब्ता तंग है कि हमें सब ढूंढना पड़ता है चश्मा लगा के क्या करना है। तो यूनिवर्सिटीज़ दे हैव टू प्ले देयर रोल टू फॉर द कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग ऑफ देयर इंस्टीट्यूशन एंड दैट इज देयर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी। Don't shift your responsibility to others. What are we good in Pakistan? We always shift our responsibility to other people. This was HEC responsibility. This was government responsibility. This was government said it was HEC responsibility. HEC said it was university responsibility. Now, if HEC will decide when exams should be taken, that seems to be a very strange thing. HEC should not decide. University should decide. HEC do its own work. तो मकसद ये है कि आइए मिल के अपने काम करके चीज़ों को बनाएं। आगे हमें ऑनलाइन ही एजुकेशन या इससे भी ऊपर एक वर्चुअल रियलिटी में जो एजुकेशन, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस और इसके जो आप सीख के मशीनों के जरिए कराएंगे वही होना है। और उसके लिए सूनर इज बेटर दैट वी शुड ट्रेन अवर सेल्फ, वी शुड ट्रेन अवर फैकल्टी, वी शुड ट्रेन अवर स्टूडेंट एंड स्टूडेंट आल्सो नीड टू लर्न दैट यू आर नॉट देयर टू गेट ओनली पीस ऑफ पेपर, यू आर हियर टू गेट सम गुड एजुकेशन। So good education will only come when you will seriously take those classes, not that you will only pass with good grades. Those grades will give you nothing but the embarrassment. With these thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, this was just a few ideas in my mind. I thought I would share with you. Without education, you cannot do anything. Please focus on education. Let's work for Pakistan. Let's work for humanity, and get out of these number games, especially. और जब तक हम अपना काम नहीं करेंगे उस वक्त तक मसले हल नहीं होंगे। मुसीबत यह है कि मैं एज ए चेयरमैन HEC शायद वो काम कम करता रहा और दूसरे काम ज़्यादा करता रहा। एक प्रोफेसर कम करता रहा, दूसरे काम ज़्यादा करता है। एक वाइस चांसलर कम करता है, दूसरे काम ज़्यादा करता है बेचारा, जिसका उसको ज़रूरत ही नहीं करने। अपने काम पे फोकस रखें और सीरियसली लें तो पाकिस्तान बड़ा खूबसूरत मुल्क है। मेरा ख्याल अपने हिस्से का चराग जलाते हैं, अल्लाह भली करेगा। Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for a very inspirational talk and words of wisdom from a teacher, from a leader, and from a mentor. So thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been really a very good discussion. We had a very interesting talk. I'll say only one sentence or two sentences about whichever I could gather from the expert advice and views of the honorable panelists. Professor Azhar Bhatti Sahab, I'm still in that situation in a way where, our very rightfully said keyword like pedagogy, which explains everything, honestly, the phase we are going through as far as the education sector of Pakistan is concerned. There was an interesting statistics as well, which actually, conveyed us a message that we can do it, as Professor Mukhtar was saying, that we reached to almost 75% of the coverage in terms of course enrollment and course offerings, where almost 75% of the courses were offered in a hybrid mode across institutions in Pakistan, and maybe around the world as well. And a very interesting, again, idea of this whole setup is changing the role of the learners and the teachers. The teachers need to be facilitators in this new mode of education anyway. And then Dr. Professor Rubina Saiba, she actually highlighted a different perspective of this whole scenario, which is equally important because students and faculty members both are going through a trauma, the emotional trauma. So there has to be a mechanism of addressing the anxiety, stress, and depression of the students and faculty members anyway, which comes along in this changed environment, in this changed pandemic environment. And obviously the universities then have to set up these departments, or need to have experts at the campuses who can provide counseling to the students and teachers both to address these challenges of online education anyway. Professor Hassan Shersab gave a view about this whole scenario the economic perspective of this whole situation, and especially again keeping in view the food security challenges faced during this pandemic. Professor Mukhtar Ahmad gave, since he has a university in the province of KPK and having a diversity of backgrounds when it comes to students, where students from different parts of the country and even the international students are studying, he highlighted the challenges faced by the students and faculty members due to digital divide and poor connectivity issues. In the end, as Professor Mukhtar said, I had a university which primarily focuses on imparting education and distance education, and now an online education mode. Technology steered and technology enhanced learning environments are actually used at my institutions. We are in the process of establishing now smart classrooms at my campus, and when we talk about this hybrid education, where part of the education is being given in an online mode and part is being given in face-to-face mode, we are also focusing on to actually equipping our regional campuses and regional centers across the country. We have 56 centers across the country. We are going to establish these smart classrooms in those centers as well, so that students who do not have connectivity at their homes or nearby places may attend the sessions at my campus. And we are also offering these facilities to other sister institutions. And this is something which Professor Bajisab mentioned, that we should not really be now talking about that conventional brick and mortar structures to be strengthened and operating into our own boundaries of the institution. We should really believe, we should start believing, and we should start sharing the resources, sharing the infrastructure resources, sharing the technological resources available at institutions for the good of this country and good of the students at large. And in the answer, with all regards to Professor Mukhtar Sahab, what he was suggesting, rightfully pointed out, but I strongly believe that instead of having 120 models of online education or 120 models of distance education in 120 universities, HEC should take the responsibility of devising a standard national open distance learning policy, so that all institutions actually define and put in place the infrastructures. And when I talk about such infrastructure, it includes all these three components Professor Mukhtar was talking about. It includes a very important component which is neglected in all of the discussion, is content development. The content needs to be developed keeping in view the pedagogies of online learning, conventional strategies do not work in online learning mode when it comes to content development. And second phase obviously is about content delivery, we normally talked about. And the third one, very important obviously, is the assessment mechanisms. So the policy document is to contain the general guidelines about these three dimensions and facets of open distance learning. And then the universities should build their capacity for improving their expertise in these three areas of open distance learning. This is going to stay, this is future of higher education in particular. So the higher education institutions of Pakistan should put in all efforts to have all resources in place for imparting education, quality education, and open distance learning. With these words, I thank Professor Zabda Shinwari for providing me the opportunity to interact with my colleagues and other colleagues who are connected online. Professor Zabda, over to you. Thank you very much.